lesson?
I watched the one yesterday.
All right. Helpful?
Yes.
Okay. All right, good.
I watched the other one.
So, and I'm putting up just the regular notes too, because if you don't want to really hear my voice, which I understand, you can just look at the regular notes. All right, so 15, tangent of 2x equals square root of 3 over 3. But I think at least with the video, you get the explanation if you've forgotten how to do something. What's the reference angle on that one? Is it 60? Let's see if I can remember here. So if it is 60, that's, no, I don't think it's 60.
It's
30. Because it's 1/2 over square root of 3 over 2. 1/2 divided by, so yep. And that'll become square root of 3 over 3. So it's 30 degrees, and then what would be the other angle in quadrant 3? 210, but 30 degrees, so hold on, let theta equal 2x. So theta equals pi over 6 plus what for tangent? Plus pi n. Plus pi n. And then the second angle is 7 pi over 6 plus pi n. But for tangent and cotangent, what do we say happens? That when you start, they're going to overlap. You're going to get the exact same set of angles because of the period. Because pi over 6 plus pi is 7 pi over 6. So you don't need to go through that second set of answers. Now, we have theta here. I'm going to replace that with 2x. Divide by 2, divide by 2, divide by 2. And then you're going to, and don't forget to divide that by 2. So I get pi over 12 plus pi over 2n, then go n equals 0, n equals 1, n equals 2 until I'm assuming the interval 0 to 2 pi for that answer. And so for n equals 0, you get x equals pi over 12. For n equals 1, you get pi over 12 plus pi over 2. What's pi over 2 in terms of 12? 6 pi. So 7 pi over 12. Now, if you're going to notice what's going to happen each time, even though you're going to let n equal 1 and then n equal 2, then n equal 3, you're just going to add pi over 2 to each answer. I mean, it's the exact same thing. Okay, so you can just keep adding that, or you can plug in n equals 2. So pi over 12 plus pi, which is 13 pi over 12. No, you add 6 pi over 12 each time. And then the last one would be n equals 3. Pi over 12 plus 3 pi over 2. And then you end up with 19 pi over 12. And then the next one will be too big. But there's your 4 answers. Okay? All right. I'll take a look if you got any other questions when I go through here individually. Make sure you, I like to use substitution. Technically, yes, you could just start with 2x equals. That's not a huge deal at all. All right, I got to go over a couple things, and then I want to give you some time to start going through the review for the test, since it is the last test before the 9 weeks. So, all right. Keep that homework handy. Is that working at all? Not at all? Why not? Why turn it off? Copy that down if you would. well, we'll get started and see if that pops up. All right, does it give you an interval? No, you don't have an interval. You just need to list, like that general form, the plus 2 pi n, the plus pi n. You just need to do that. Now you got 4x minus pi over 4. I'm going to use substitution. And so I'm going to let, in this case here, let theta equal 4x minus pi over 4, 3 tangent theta equals square root of 3. Isolate your tangent of theta. Hey, is this just the one we went over? Same one? Pretty much. So tangent of theta tangent equals square root of 3 over 3. All right, so take some time. Now, again, this is a case. Tangent and cotangent only have one set of solutions. Okay, only have one set of solutions. I'm going to list them both, cross the other one out just so that I have them up there. But square root of 3 over 3, that's the 30-degree angle, right? I think that's what we just went over. And you can, all right, look, you are allowed to do this. Inverse tangent, second square root of 3 divided by 3, 30 degrees. Nobody ever said you can't. Got it? Now, I would hope you know that and you can figure that out. But you're definitely allowed to do that. So theta equals pi over 6 plus pi n, and then theta also equals 7 pi over 6 plus pi n. And that one we don't need because they are going to be the same. All right, I'm listing all solutions. I'm not going to do n equals 0, n equals 1, n equals 2. I'm just going to list them and be done. But I got to substitute back in 4x 4x okay, minus pi over 4 equals pi over 6 plus pi n. I got to solve for x. Add pi over n. Okay? Or excuse me, add pi over 4. Add pi over 4. Now, what do we add that to? You have to, this is a constant. It can only be added to another constant. You only add it to the pi over 6. Do not add it to all 3. Okay, be careful there. You can only combine like terms. So it gives you 4x equals pi over 6 plus pi over 4, which is 2 pi over 12 plus, whoops, not 5, but 4 times 3, 3 pi over 12, which gives me 5 pi over 12 plus pi n. All right, divide by what? Divide everything by 4. Now you got to divide everything by 4. Divide everything by 4, divide everything by 4. And so here's what I get. You get x equals, what's 5 pi over 12 divided by 4? That's a good question. 5 pi over 48. So 5 pi over 12 divided by 4 means you multiply it by 1/4. So 5 pi over 48. So I get 5 pi over 48 plus pi over 4 times n. And then leave that. That's all you got to do. Leave that. Because the directions said find all solutions, and it did not give you an interval. So we're going to list it like that. Tangent only has one set of answers. Okay, for that. I did say write your answers in radians, so we did do that. Okay, I want to do one more like this one. 2 sine 3x minus 3 pi over 8 equals negative square root of 3. All right. Go ahead and get that down. We'll go through it here in a second. So I'm going to let theta equal 3x minus 3 pi over 8. All right, we're going to do the same thing, but for sine, you're going to get the two sets of answers, okay, as opposed to the one set because they do not overlap. And the period is 2 pi. So I got 2 sine theta equals negative square root of 3. And when I divide by 2, I get sine of theta equals negative square root of 3 over 2. Now, I'm hoping you know that. If not, you can go to your calculator, but there are two values that work. All right, where does sine of what angle is negative square root of 3 over 2? What's going to be in quadrant 3 and quadrant 4? And that means your reference angle is going to have to be 60 degrees. 180 plus 60 is 240. 360 minus 60 is 300, but we're in radians. So 240 is 4 pi over 3. 300 is 5 pi over 3. So theta equals 4 pi over 3 plus 2 pi n. And then your other answer is theta equals 5 pi over 3 plus 2 pi n. Those will be two distinct sets. Go ahead and substitute back. What was the original one there? 3x minus 3 pi over 8. So 3x minus 3 pi over 8 equals 4 pi over 3 plus 2 pi n. Same thing over here. 3x minus 3 pi over 8 equals 5 pi over 3 plus 2 pi n. I'll just work one at a time. Got to solve for x. Add 3 pi over 8. So I got plus 3 pi over 8 plus 3 pi over 8. And then that gives me 3x equals, well, what is that? 4 pi over 3. 3 pi over 8. 24. Common denominator. $25 pi over 24. Okay. Somebody give me agreement. Yeah, Alex. Thank you, Alex. Bonus point for the test. All right, maybe not. So 25 pi over 24, and then plus 2 pi n. Divide by 3. Everything. Divide by 3. Divide by 3. These aren't going to be nice answers, but that's okay. X equals. All right, what's 25 pi over 24 divided by 3? 25 pi over 72. 25 pi over 72 plus 2 pi over 3n. And then over here, add 3 pi over 8. Add 3 pi over 8. Okay, Alex, I get this to you. And what does that give me, Lucas? What do you got down there?
We're not there yet.
Oh, I thought you were.
No, I got the left side.
Oh, I thought you had already done it. It was 5 pi over 3 plus 3 pi over 8. Wait, did I do that one right? Why didn't you tell me? So 3 times 8, 4. This should be 32.
Yeah, it should be 41.
This should be 32. Alex, why'd you tell me I did it right? Alex, you lose a point now.
Oh, no.
That's why nobody said anything, because it wasn't right. Nobody would tell me. So let's see here. Does that give me 32 pi? So 41. So that should be 41. Is that right now?
Yes.
All right. Some of you might be going, what's going on right now? Okay. Now let's see there. Is it 49 pi over 24?
Yes.
Rossler? You'd say yes to anything, right? 49 pi over 24 plus 2 pi n. Now divide by 3. Now divide by 3. So I get x equals 49 pi over 72 plus 2 pi over 3 n. Okay, 2 pi over 3 n. I'm just going to list these as one big set. 41 pi over 72 plus 2 pi over 3n, and then 49 pi over 72 plus 2 pi over 3n for any integer n. For any integer n. Okay. So now, we did one similar to these before where we had all solutions. We wrote them similarly. This one now has probably a little bit more. It has a situation where it's not just an x. Okay, it's a expression that we got to solve for. All right. Nope, not going to do that one. Okay, let me hand this out. I want done for tomorrow 1 through 8. If you get done with all of it, that's fine. But you have to. What's going on here?
Yeah, you can pass it down.
I remember when I was.
Hey, at least you said something. At least you said something.
I'm like, that doesn't seem right, but I don't want to be the
Hey,
I was so.
on what? Yeah, you want to simplify all things.
Basically, one should be good, thinking you got time for that.